So I'm very happy to be here today to share some important information about scholarships at SDSU. And our university offers nearly 800 scholarship opportunities in Aztec scholarships to help support students in reaching their educational goals. And these scholarships are made possible through the generosity of donors who believe deeply in the value of higher education and your potential for academic success. So each scholarship comes with specific eligibility criteria, which can include a whole host of number of things. It can be involvement in certain extracurricular or co-curricular activities, enrollment in a specific major or a specific college. So we have scholarships for students in Fowler College of Business, and it can also include academic standing or other achievements. Most of our scholarships do not require California residency, and while many are not based on financial need, there are approximately 200 scholarships that do require it. So if you want to be considered for our financial needs scholarships, make sure to submit that FAFSA for our eligible citizens or non-citizens, or the California DREAM Act application for our AB 540 students. Make sure you submit those annually and meet the posted scholarship deadline. Now, some of our scholarships have very specific requirements where only a handful of students will match to them, and others are very broad and apply to thousands of students on campus. But regardless of the criteria, one thing remains true: you can't be considered if you don't apply. So make sure to submit your general application by the incoming student early action deadline, or no later than September 5th. And just one other note, if you haven't yet explored the system, I just want to highlight that Aztec Scholarships makes the process very easy for you. You don't need to guess which scholarships are a fit for you, because the system will automatically match you with those aligned to your qualifications. And should you have any scholarship specific questions, we have a dedicated team and email address where you can reach out to us. It's at scholars@sdsu.edu. And we're also going to be hosting an Everything You Need to Know About Scholarships webinar. It's going to take place this July on the 9th, and we'd love to see you there. So the next slide, please. So what are some of those best practices when you're submitting your application? Here are some things that I suggest you keep in mind. First of all, be honest and authentic. Share your real experiences and your voice. That's going to be what makes your story unique and memorable. And know your audience. Many scholarship reviewers are SDSU faculty and staff who are closely connected to the award. Write like you are talking to someone who wants to get to know the real you. That way, you are able to create a connection between you and the reader. Tell your story with depth. Scholarship committees don't expect perfection. They're interested to see how you've grown, how you've faced challenges and persevered, or overcome the obstacles that life has thrown your way. Don't just mention a difficulty, highlight what you did in response and what you learned from it. Also, be specific and not generic. Rather than simply saying you're a first generation student or that you hold a part-time job, what about those things makes it more memorable? Provide real life examples that demonstrate how those experiences have shaped you. And always proofread. Spelling and grammar do matter. So I recommend asking a friend or a family member to read your responses and provide feedback, and it can make a big difference. So the next slide. So let's just take a moment to discuss the role of artificial intelligence like ChatGPT in the scholarship process. I know that it seems like a quick fix for responding to a scholarship essay response, but I strongly advise against relying solely on AI to write your scholarship essays. It's often very obvious when a response has been generated by artificial intelligence. If you go into one of our scholarship accounts and start reading through the essays, many sound nearly identical, and that removes the personal touch that committees are looking for. Some reviewers have even told us they'd rather see a few grammar mistakes than read a response that has been written by a robot. There have even been instances where students included AI generated facts that turned out to be hallucinations, such as referencing conversations with faculty members who don't exist. These type of errors have resulted in application cancellations. So we want to help our students use AI responsibly when answering scholarship essay prompts. So we have an AI usage policy on our website that you can access, and it's a helpful guide to help you understand how these tools can be used ethically and effectively. And on the next slide, we'll just go quickly over a few acceptable uses in your scholarship application. So you want to use AI to support and not substitute your efforts. Let it help you brainstorm or organize your ideas, but ensure you personalize and refine the content yourself. You can also use AI for research assistance, like summarizing complex topics or exploring potential essay themes. And you can use it to improve your grammar or the clarity of what you're trying to write, but always ensure the tone and the voice remain true to you. So remember, AI can enhance your work, but your unique voice and experiences are what will truly make your application stand out. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Sue to take us through our final slides.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Carrie. So I had mentioned at the beginning that resources, which is inclusive of these items here, stipends, research fellowships, reimbursements, scholarships, private loans, all of those must be reported to the financial aid office because they can impact students' financial aid eligibility. So just keep that in mind. I want to turn it over quickly to talk about a student aid index appeal. So when you file your FAFSA application, it's using income from 2 years prior. So the information that you reported may not be true based on your current circumstances. And typically that happens with graduate students. You might have been working full-time 2 years ago, and then you're starting a graduate program, which doesn't permit you to work because of the rigors of the program. If this is your situation and you don't currently qualify for a state university grant, you could use or file the student aid index appeal. And essentially it's an appeal where you can document your change in income because either you stopped working because you're starting school, you reduced your hours at work, so you're not going to be earning as much. And if you contact our office, which is the Cal Coast Student Financial Center, or you can email me as well, we can add the student aid index appeal to your task list in your my.sdsu. So typically you would want to do this, like I said, if you don't already qualify for the state university grant because your income was too high from 2 years prior, but now you're not working anymore, then this would be the option that you would want to explore. On the flip side, so I spoke earlier about the cost of attendance and how financial aid is limited to be or remain within the cost of attendance. This is a cost of attendance appeal, and that allows us to increase that cost of attendance figure to make room for more financial aid eligibility. Typically, it's in the form of more loan eligibility, but it could also be essentially not having to reduce aid because of a scholarship, for example. So let's say you are receiving a state university grant, some loans up to your cost of attendance of $35,000, and then you're awarded a scholarship. When the scholarship is added, typically we would have to take away something else, usually the loans, up to the amount of the scholarship. But if you wanted to keep the aid in addition to the newly awarded scholarship without impacting your other aid eligibility, we could do a cost of attendance appeal. So the expenses that we can consider is auto repair and maintenance, medical, dental expenses not covered by insurance. If you have a child, childcare expenses, one-time purchase of a computer. And the expenses must be incurred during the academic year in question. We also require that the expenses, that you provide a paper trail that those expenses were paid by you. So we get a lot of students requesting increases because they're paying car insurance. So for a car insurance cost of attendance appeal, we would require a copy of the auto insurance policy and then proof that the student is making those payments. So if you're paying through your bank account, you could provide copies of your bank statements with the amounts highlighted for the car insurance. We've also received, I know Zelle is a big outlet where students can make payments, Zelle statements. We just need to see that paper trail of documentation. The form is available in October. So once that form is available, we can add it to your task list in your my.stsu, and you can file an adjustment for the cost of attendance. Finally, I just want to talk a little bit about the Economic Crisis Response Team, or ECRT. This is an office on campus that is designed to help students that are experiencing food and housing insecurities. They also have a pantry that's available. They're a great resource for students that find themselves in dire straits. So do keep that in mind. And then the other piece to that is CalFresh, or food stamp benefits. I know a lot of graduate students utilize or apply for benefits through CalFresh, and there's the county access line there. I believe you have to, in some cases, they've asked that students qualify for federal work study. So if that's the case, we can add it to your award temporarily so that you can demonstrate that you have financial need. But it's certainly something else to explore as a resource for you as you navigate through the process. Graduate school, as we know, is very expensive. So anywhere we can cut costs, I would definitely encourage that.